Welcome to the Successful Home Inspector Podcast, where we discuss everything you need to know about home inspection from A to Z. Brought to you by Preston Sandlin and Home Inspection Carolina. We're here to share some success stories and some not so successful stories. Some things we can all learn from, and maybe, just maybe, we can help each other and raise the profession. So sit back, turn up the volume, and enjoy. Now, here's your host of the Successful Home Inspector Podcast, Preston Sandlin.
I always like to have guaranteed inspections. Well, now you can with InspectNewHomes.com. Owned and operated by the Home Inspector team. The only website that's designed for new builders and home inspectors to collaborate and work together. It's a grading system that grades new homes to increase the quality product of their homes. Bring the new builder something they've never had before. Quality inspection by a licensed home inspector at InspectNewHomes.com.
I've been using it since 2006.
Yeah, I hear you, brother. So is it already recording, or you have to record?
Yeah, I've already turned it on. Now that you said it, go ahead. I just turned it on right there.
Okay. Well, listeners, I have a special treat for you here today. I am here with a buddy of mine I've known for a long, long time, Mr. Ken Compton, out of, is it Jasper, Georgia, or Naples? Where exactly are you now, Ken?
Jasper, Georgia today.
Jasper, Georgia today. Well, Ken, obviously I know you, and I know a lot about your background, but there's probably some listeners out there who are hearing your voice for the first time. Tell us a little bit about you and how you got into the home inspection business. Not too many of us grew up wanting to be a home inspector. I didn't even know what that was when I was a kid. And what did you want to be when you were a kid?
That's funny, Preston. You're right. Nobody does grow up to want to be a home inspector. I actually wanted to be a lawyer. Believe it or not, I always loved that. The Perry Mason influence, the whole thing. I always enjoyed that. I thought that would be glamorous and exciting. And so in college, I got a degree in economics and one in political science, and I had to do an internship for both of them. Right. So I combined it. So I did a fiscal and public policy internship with the House Commerce Committee. And Preston, I learned what lawyers really did for a living, grunted it out in a dark office for 100 hours a week for the first 5 years. And I said, where is that in Perry Mason? So I said, I think I won't be doing that. So I changed and decided not to do it. Got into the financial services industry right out of college and built a very, very large multi-million-dollar business and decided to sell it after 3.5 years of doing it. And I sold it. And I said, now what? So here's what happened, Preston. This is kind of weird. I had gotten a divorce, sadly, and had to buy a new house. And so the real estate agent said, you need to get a home inspection. I'm like, what's that? And she described what it was and all. And, of course, this was in the 90s, probably 1995. And they still had paper reports and all that kind of stuff. So I said, I don't know anybody. You know a home inspector? She said, oh, yeah, I know a home inspector. He's really good. So I go over there to the house. She insisted I go while he was doing it, the inspection. So I go over there and visit with him. He was very nice. Couldn't have been more personable. And just walking right through the house, telling me all kind of things about a house I never would even know about a house. So gave me the paper report. He actually had legible penmanship, so I could actually read what he wrote. So anyway, Preston, I had owned another little company then that helped small businesses in Georgia move to the next level, whether they didn't have enough capital or strategic planning or whatever it was. So I bought another house up here in the North Georgia mountains in Jasper, where I am today. And what happened was I called this guy and said, hey, I'm buying another house. It was about 3 or 4 months later. I'm buying another house. Could you come and do the home inspection? He said, well, where is it? And I said, it's in Jasper. And he said, well, gosh, Ken, you know what? I might have to charge $50 extra. And I'm like, oh, okay, that'll be fine. So he came on up, and so what happens, he did it. And while I was talking to him in both inspections, Preston, this is what happened. Mm-hmm. He was lamenting while he was inspecting, he wasn't doing inspections. And while he was doing the inspections, he wasn't doing the marketing. Okay, so when he was marketing, he wasn't inspecting. When he was inspecting, he wasn't marketing. And his income kept going up and down. And this guy had been doing it 7 or 8 years. And his income just continued to be inconsistent. Right. And I hear that from OneMan Shop still today, and I know you do too.
Right.
So I said, wow, I think there might be a business opportunity here. Now, remember, I'm not a home inspector. I'm a marketer. So anyway, I talked with him about it, and I say, and this was in 96, early 96. And I said, started looking around at the home inspection industry strictly as a business investment. Okay, so I'm looking around. There were only 2 large multi-inspector firms in the whole city of Atlanta. Okay, and they were pretty good size, and they had been around for a while. And so then what we did is we did some focus groups with real estate agents, and we said, if you could wave the magic wand and have anything you wanted in a home inspection business, the perfect home inspection business, what would you want? And you know what they told us? Home inspectors aren't home that much. You know, when you call back for service, you can't get anybody till the next evening. They only say negative things about homes. They have these terrible paper reports. Nobody answers the phone. I mean, they had all this list of complaints. So I looked at our team and I said, I think we can get into the home inspection industry and make some tremendous profits, because the majority of the industry in Atlanta at that time was one-man shops. So I said, so we did. So in 1997, Preston, we launched Southern Home Inspection Services. It's still in business today, even though I sold it in 2010. We launched in 97. Okay, we started off with 3 divisions: new construction, residential resale, and EIFs. We started off day one with 8 inspectors and 3 schedulers. The first year we did about $567,000 in change in year one in 1997.
That's got to be an exception too. No, that's not typical at all. That's not my path.
Exactly. Now, remember, I had just sold a multi-million-dollar business, so cash was not an issue. And I'll tell you a little funny story, too, is in the financial services industry, I have a recruiter, or headhunter, as we call him, and his name's Jim Jones. And he's a heck of a good guy. So I call him up and say, Jim, I need me some home inspectors for the next company. He said, dude, what's a home inspector? I said, I'm uncertain, but we need to find some.
I hear you, brother. I hear you.
So that's how we started, Preston, just strictly as a business opportunity. For the first 5 years I owned Southern Home Inspection Services, I was not a home inspector. Wow. I was a marketer. And so after that 5 years, I said, you know what? If I'm going to make this thing run in the field as well as it runs from the marketing and business side, I need to learn that. So what I did, I called up my old buddies that they hit. It was the newcomers then, Roy Newcomer, his wife Jenny. Of course, the boys we're still good friends with today. And what happens is I said I need to get me some home inspection schooling. So they said, cool, come on up. So I went up there and took their classes and worked with one of our senior inspectors and learned that side of the business, and then implemented a bunch of cool things in the field to make our firm better.
Awesome. Well, my story coincides with yours, or runs parallel with yours a little bit. I actually went to law school too, or I went to law school for long enough to figure out this wasn't what I wanted to do. I went to Campbell University, man. It was, nothing against Campbell. It was great, but it's in Bowie's Creek, North Carolina, which, I mean, there's nothing out there, but you know, it's kind of like a Deliverance or something. But anyway, yeah, sweet. Decided that wasn't me, and I got in the home inspection field, but I certainly did not hit the ground running like you did. I was one of those one-man shops that was on that continual roller coaster, and then when I did get busy, I had no life because I was doing, 3 inspections a day, staying up till 1, 2 in the morning, writing reports day after day. And, there's not enough money in the world that makes up for having to, just burning it on your family life in. So that's I know you preach that all the time. That's a whole other thing too. It's not just the work. You gotta have balance. So I was out of balance, but, I certainly figured it out. But man, you hit the ground running there. Well, Ken,
I look at it as a business. That's just it, Preston. I look at it as a business.
Right. Absolutely. And then that's the thing. I think most home inspectors are technicians, and they're really good technicians. But the whole marketing, administrative part. I mean, and even if you were good, it's very hard to be good at all 3 and be one person. That's kind of what, when I am searching to hire inspectors, that's what I'm always. That's what I always talk. I mean, every guy I talk to is tired of doing all 3 jobs. He just wants to be the technician because that's what he's good at and that's what he wants to do. He doesn't really want to do as much marketing and stuff. So that's what always, now some guys do, and there is nothing wrong with having a one-man shop. Some days I wish you get one of those crazy complaints. You're like, he said what? Well, Ken, you mentioned that you got started around 1997. So that kind of makes you an old timer in this business. So tell me about all the changes you've seen here in the past pretty much 20 years, I guess.
It's been some quite interesting changes. When we first started pressing, we used paper reports. And not all of our guys' penmanship was that great. So there were a few callbacks about, I can't read what he wrote. So now computer-generated reports came in, and we used those. We actually printed on site. But today with hotspots, our clients don't even print on site. They produce a report. We try to get all of our clients to produce a report on site. And then what they do is they transmit it right from the inspection via hotspot. So that is a huge difference. I think the tools that home inspectors have today are just fantastic. How about, infrared cameras and, drones and all these cool things. And, that as home inspectors, those guys love tools. Those tools are great. I think one of the biggest things, and this causes us a real business challenge, Preston, is that client expectations have changed and the driveway presentation for most home inspectors has gone away. We didn't have the internet to deliver the pre-inspection agreement in advance, days and weeks or however long they've scheduled in advance, and we did the driveway presentation. And when you could look face-to-face with a customer and do the driveway presentation, and the customer went with you, and Ms. Jones's garage is packed today, there may be some things that you might notice. We didn't test the electrical out over here, or there might be a hole in the drywall. But remember, the garage was packed when we inspected it, and we can't move that stuff. Oh, Ken, I got that. No problem. See, we've lost that. We can't really communicate with the client. I think clients' expectations are different. Everything ought to be perfect when they move in. And that's not the way it was in the day. So I think that causes all these damn callbacks.
No kidding. I tell people all the time, man, it is used to you just said, something was wrong and where it was and what was wrong, or, something was wrong with it, and that was good. Now it's like, you didn't tell me how bad it was. You didn't, I had one that dang column on one of these Georgia mansions, Georgian-style mansion. I had the damage of it and took a picture of it, and they said, well, you didn't show a picture of the backside of the column. I'm like, the damn column's round.
There ain't no backside.
I know. I'm like, the guy come out there, fix it, didn't notice that it was all around the base, just fix what was in the picture. I'm sorry, I didn't have a 360 camera. Golly. It's just crazy.
I think the other thing that's changed, and that's social media. And social media is a mixed blessing. It allows us to get our best message out and extend our reach, to a lot of people that maybe we wouldn't have. But these dad blame reviews where clients have unrealistic expectations and contractors have no idea about our standards of practice. They're out there saying like all kind of stuff like you only fixed the column in the front or what was showing in the front, really? That's kind of crazy. So reviews, I think, are a great thing today. If you don't have reviews, there's 3 types of reputation: good, bad, and none is equal to bad. You got to have it, but dealing with the reviews and that kind of thing is pretty difficult. And I think the last thing, and this is a beautiful thing, and you hear me talk about it all the time because this is one of my big things. I said years ago that real estate agents were going away from the offices. When I saw Redfin, Zip, Zillow, and those guys come in and be virtual, I'm like, oh, this is going. So this go direct to the public, man, is a beautiful thing because pretty soon real estate agents are going to be out of it. And if you can't go direct to the public, you're going to be in serious trouble.
Right. I want to go back for a second, Ken, to what you said about reviews. I think they're critically important, and the thing is, the way it naturally is, people only say something when they complain. I mean, it's almost like without some sort of help getting reviews or some sort of system, I think what you're going to get is, what is it, 1 out of 100, 5 out of 100, or I don't know, whatever. 95 people can be happy as a lark, but they just don't say anything. But damn, those 5, 3, or whatever that weren't, they're going to tell the whole world. So it's like I feel like you've got to have a system in place to kind of harvest some of those people who wouldn't have normally spoke, but maybe incentivize. I got to be careful what I say there, but make it a little bit easier for them to. And I know you deal in that. And the other thing I wanted to say is millennials. I mean, I have 2 young kids, but millennials now are all about the reviews. And, I don't want to throw off. I know every generation throws off on the next generation. Oh, we're all going to pot, Every generation has said that about the younger generation. But I will say they will, write a bad review in a heartbeat, and they don't realize how devastating that can be to a company. So I don't know, I'm sure you'll speak on that in a little bit, which kind of brings us into our next question. I want to hear about your products and services, but let me frame this before I ask it. For the listeners out there, Ken owned a multi-inspector firm in Atlanta, Georgia, and he sold it but still has contact with the folks running it. I'm sure you can elaborate. So he's still heavily connected with it, but he got into started a home inspector marketing group, the Savvy Inspector. And I don't want to, you could fill in all the, the things. So he offers services to help home inspectors market and whatnot. So I just wanted to frame that for the listeners first. So tell us a little bit about your products and services, Ken.
All right. Well, Preston, I'll tell you, in 2006, we launched the Savvy Inspector, and all I did was provide coaching services and workshops because, I had already sold a couple of big businesses. I built the first one to multi-million. The home inspection business, I built multi-million. And so what happens is, quite frankly, I was going to be a little lazy. So I was just going to take it easy and do group coaching, and that was what it was going to be. So we still do that today. But I don't know if you know this or not, Preston, but the Savvy Inspector has grown to 22 employees. And we're actually bringing on 3 more right now. So the Savvy Inspector has gotten quite large. So the clients over the years have demanded more services. They say, Ken, we love the Savvy Inspector, but we'd like to have this, or we'd like to have this, or can you do this for us? So kind of that's how we've done it. That wasn't my intention to get this large, but the clients demanded it, and we said sure. And we serve hundreds of clients all over the U.S. and in 7 foreign countries today. So it's quite an interesting, but we still provide group coaching, which is really great. That's the backbone of what we do. We bring in folks and help them achieve their dreams in the home inspection business. We also do one-on-one coaching. So if you want to go faster, you can talk with one of our coaches each week. And what happens is we put you a custom program together, and we'll speed you through the process of whatever your goals are. This is one of the things that we do now, Preston, I really love, and that's the Napoleon Hill style mastermind group. I have 2 of them going. We facilitate 2 of them, and it is really a great thing because you're familiar with the concept, I know, and it's client helping client, and they're all in different geographic locations, and we meet twice a month for 2 hours on a scheduled call, and then what they do is they meet with our coaching staff twice a year off-site for 2 days. And no phone, no family, no anything, and just really get focused on their business. And the results these guys have gotten is phenomenal. One of our clients, 2.5 years ago, he was a one-man shop with no office, no staff, no anything. A one-man shop. Today he has 6 home inspectors, an office, a marketing person, inside marketing rep. Not bad in 2.5 years.
No, not bad at all. Well, what sets what you do apart from other options out there?
I'm going to talk about that in just a second, but let me say a couple other things on this one. We also do workshops, and Preston, you've been, and so you know it, annual workshops we do, so we do that. Here's what happened the other day. I shouldn't say the other day, but about a year ago, the lady that produced the newsletters for us, for the realtors and the clients, for the home inspectors, she calls me up and says, Ken, I got some bad news. And I'm like, okay. Like I thought she was going to tell me she was terminally ill or something. She said, I'm closing my business. I'm like, holy smokes, she's been doing it since 2006 for us. So we had to get into the newsletter business, Preston. So now we're in a publishing business. Remember when I said we didn't really want to do all these things? Right. So that's pretty funny. So we've opened an e-commerce store because a lot of home inspectors who aren't our coaching clients, what they say is, wow, I need some PowerPoints, or I need this, or I need that. So we have an e-commerce store. So then the clients finally said, Ken, you know what? This stuff you teach us is great, but you know how busy we are? We don't want to do it. We want you to do it for us. So today we have what we call a done-for-you services unit where we handle dozens and dozens of home inspectors' online marketing in the U.S. and Canada. So they don't want to do the online marketing. They know it's important. They want the phone calls from it. They don't want to do it, so our staff does it. And finally, we added a couple of years ago, if you don't want to do your offline marketing, we have virtual assistants in-house that are our employees that do that for you. So we'll do your offline marketing and your online marketing. But again, we started off doing group coaching, helping people go, but we've just been forced into providing a bunch of other services, and the clients are happy about it, and it's worked out well for us too.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, Ken, I'm going to switch gears on you here just a little bit. Do you have a success quote you could share with us? And tell us about a time that quote applied to you.
We sure can. And Preston, I bet you know this quote. This quote says, "He who implements wins."
Right.
Yeah. And you know what? I've updated the quote this time to say, "He who time blocks to implement wins."
Yes, especially folks like myself, who have ADD, squirrel, who are easily distracted, definitely need to time block and say, all right, this time. Not only did I time block, Ken, I would time block, but then I would I had like one of those timer like clocks, and I would set, for the next 2 hours, I am working on this project and only this project, and I'm only allowed to get up to use the bathroom. That's it. Because otherwise, I just, I'm all over the place, man. Shiny object syndrome or whatever. So, cool.
And Preston, you've achieved the success that you've achieved because you've time blocked, because you worked on your business and not just in it. So that's a huge thing, and that's one of the reasons you've achieved what you've done, and which has been fantastic. It's been just a privilege to watch you grow and go. So you've overcome the ADD, you've time blocked, you've implemented the things you need to do to be successful. But I want to go back to a question we were going to talk about a minute ago, and what sets our products and services apart from us. I think there's four things that do that. And I've said this, and you've heard me say it. We turn people from being a home inspector to being a marketer of home inspection services. Sure, you have to do the deed initially. You have to do the home inspection, but that's not what you are as a business owner. You're a marketer of that business. Okay, and when you understand that, when home inspectors understand that, they get it, they truly believe it, the light comes on. Okay, and it changes their outcomes totally. I think the other thing that helps us is we help home inspectors systematize their business. We talked about a reputation earlier and having a system, because you know what? Most home inspectors are reactive, not proactive. They're like a firefighter, and they're putting out a fire every dang day. So if you could eliminate the fires and systematize those things, leads actually come in without you doing the work. And I think the other thing, two more things I think that really set us apart, is we help home inspectors build an asset they can sell. Okay? By having systems and doing all these things, when you get finished, whenever you say enough is enough, are you going to take a permanent unpaid vacation, or are you going to take a permanent paid vacation? I think that makes us different. And I think one other thing is our team is here for our home inspection coaching clients every step of the way. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. We'll hold your hand. You know what happens is, if you don't know how to do something or you have a question, even if you think it's bizarre, we have a team member here that get right back with you and handle it. So we really try to help them with everything. So when they tell us what their dreams are, we help them achieve them. When they say, I'm ready to get out 5 years before, we work with them to get out so they have a sellable asset. I think that separates us. We're not just trying to help you get marketing.
Right. So, and you kind of answered this, but you might have a little bit more to add. Are your services going to save your clients time, money? Is it going to give them an advantage over their competition, and how if it does?
Okay. I really think that is a great question. Okay, so here's what happens is, our services help the home inspector achieve their dreams in the shortest time possible, regardless of the condition of the real estate market. We turned more one-man shops into multi-inspector firms during the recession, 2007, 2008, than we did before. Okay, so that's one aspect of it. Okay, so I think we help them achieve their dreams, regardless of the market, whatever their dreams are. We talked about it, or you mentioned it earlier, one-man shop. There's nothing wrong with that. Be a well-run one-man shop with systems. So at the Savvy Inspector, here's one of the things we do. What we do, we tell you what you do to be successful. We tell you why you need to do it, and then what happens is we give you the tools to do it. So if you don't do it, shame on you. Now we'll actually do it for you. And I think the final thing is, if you're a member of the Savvy and you've implemented our systems, I don't think you got to worry about your competition.
Right. Well,
they ain't thinking this way.
Well, Ken, I'm going to switch gears on you here again, brother, just to mix it up. So and I know that, people ask me, what do you do in your spare time? I work. But if you had spare time, what would you do? What would Ken Compton do in his spare time?
Yeah, I was going to say, what spare time?
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, Preston, first and foremost, my friend, I'm a reader. I read 20 books a month. I am a reader. I read some fiction. That's all cool. But I love to read business books and other things so that I can see what's happening in other industries and to see how we can take those strategies and help home inspectors with them. So reading is really my passion. And 20 books a month, Amazon started off with you bought the books from them. Then they introduced to, you can have reading unlimited. Man, they lost money on me. They clearly didn't look at the record before they offered that. But I love to cook, so our staff, our family and friends and staff, I'll say, if you want to eat a meal at the Compton house, Ken better be home. So I love to cook. That's a fantastic thing. I'm having my kitchen remodeled right now as we speak, so if you hear some banging, it's probably the contractor. One of the other things I really love is in one of the companies that I owned, I had some shareholders out in the Marin County area in California across the Golden Gate Bridge, and I got involved in some of the wineries out there, and I really love that. And so when the winery started up in the southeast, I was kind of a wine snob. I'm like, there can't be any great wines here. This isn't California. So we've discovered a lot of great wines here in Georgia, and so we love to go and visit the vineyards and really get to know the owners and learn more about their wines. And, of course, we certainly buy some and drink them. That's pretty fun. And then one of the other things I love, Preston, and this might not be politically correct, but I love the gun range. I love the gun range. I like to go out there and just let a few rounds off and have some fun and try to improve my marksmanship. Beth loves it, too, so that's a nice thing. We like to travel. I'll tell you one of the things, the journey, I'm liking that less. I love the destination, but the journey, getting there with the airport and the traffic and all that kind of stuff isn't all that fun. And then I guess the final thing that we do when we have time, we have a beautiful granddaughter who's turning 15 at the end of the month, and so we like to spend time with our family and friends.
Awesome. I want to back up on one thing you said there, the first thing about reading. I'm a voracious reader, but let me qualify that. I'm a voracious listener of books. I love Audible.com because, as home inspectors, Ken, we're always, we go windshield time, we're always driving, and I've heard every song 20 times, so it doesn't do me any good to hear, on the road again. I love the song, but, that's my life, and I've heard it a million times. It's not helping me. So I'm a big Audible fan. I'm like one of those early. I get $15 a month. I get 2 books, any books I want. I think it's now 20 or 25, but they froze me at 15. But that's a tremendous asset there to have and just listen. In the old days, I used to listen to books, and they were on tape, and you'd have like 32 cassette tapes. It'd be like side B of 17 to side A. Well, what the heck happened to 18A? And now it's so much better. I can get I can get 20 books at a time on my little device. So it's so much better now. But anytime you can expand your mind, it's an awesome. And I switch back and forth, like you said. I'll go nonfiction, fiction, nonfiction, fiction. I know some people are all nonfiction. How to improve your business, and that's great. But every once in a while, I need a break and just listen to some fiction, and then I come back a little more refreshed when I go into, some business book or something. But anyway, I'm hijacking.
I couldn't agree more, Preston. Years ago when I was on the road a lot, I used the CDs and all that kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, we used to produce them for Savvy members until everything went digital. But you got that right on the money because home inspectors are out there on the road all the time, and every video that we produce at the Savvy Inspector, which there are hundreds on every topic, we also produce an audio so that they can download it and do just what you said, because why waste that time on the radio?
Yeah, exactly. And it's so much nicer now. You can just stop it where it is and go do whatever your home inspection, come back and push play again and start right back. And doesn't matter if it's 2 hours long or whatever. You don't have to find cassette 3A. What happened to 2B? And dang it, it ate the third tape. It's like,
yeah.
So anyway, it's one continuous thing. It's amazing. Well, this really leads in really nicely into our next question, Ken, and then we're up against a break after that. But prior to the break, tell us what's your favorite book that you could recommend to our listeners, and what is it about the book that appeals to you?
Preston, can I give you 3 that I think every one of the listeners needs to hear?
Sure.
Okay. The first one is Good to Great by Jim Collins. I don't know if you've read it or listened to it, but Jim Collins' premise is if you're going to be a successful business, you're going to have to hire employees, because we've already established OneMan Shop doesn't have the life a work balance. So if you're going to achieve your dreams, it's going to be earning money, freedom, all those kinds of things. Whatever your dream happens to be, you're going to have to bring on employees. And Jim Collins, in Good to Great, his premise of the book is hire the right people. So he calls it getting the right people on the bus. But once you hire the people, you got to get them on the right seat on the bus in order to achieve what you want. Okay, so that is a great one. It is on Audible. Get it and listen to it if people listen to this call later haven't gotten it. I think one of the other, and I had our mastermind group read this book and then do a report, what are the takeaways from this book that you can implement into your business? And it was The One Thing by Gary Kellert, because you alluded to it earlier, the squirrel function. You know, everybody's off on a million things, but what's that one thing that you could do that would help your business succeed? And what's the one thing this month? And what's the one thing today? So drilling down. Right. And I think the third one that everybody really should do would be Epic Content Marketing by Joe Paluzzi. The way millennials purchase is way different. And we're teaching a breakout session at the workshop, Marketing to Millennials. And what happens is this. People don't want to be sold. They want to learn about your product and service, and then they want to purchase. And the way we market today is changing drastically. So Epic Content Marketing by Joe Paluzzi. Three winners for business owners.
Awesome. I've read the first two, but the third one I have not. And I will be. I think I got 2 credits on Audible right now, so I wrote it. Well, Ken, we're going to break here for sponsor, and when we get back, we're going to talk about the future a little bit.
Hey, home inspectors out there, I'm going to tell you a creative, inexpensive way to increase your business massively. Go to homeinspectionflyers.com and get the flyers. You get 5 flyers a month. You customize them to yourself. They're turnkey, they're creative, and it's $29 a month for 5 flyers. That's less than $6 a flyer. And they are done by yours truly, Preston Sandlin. And I am a creative guy, especially when I don't take my medication. But I come up with some crazy stuff. It works for my business. I went from 1 inspector to 7 inspectors with this strategy alone. So again, for $29.95, you get 5 flyers. I do 1 per week. I send them off to get copied on the internet. I can get them for about 7 cents a piece, and I put them out in the boxes when I do my candy run. Works fantastic. homeinspectionflyers.com. Thanks.
All right. Well, we are back here with Ken Compton, who, for anybody who's joining in now, who owned a multi-inspector firm, Southern Home Inspection Services in Atlanta, Georgia. He sold that, but he's still, I'm pretty sure he's still in contact with that today. But he got into providing services for home inspectors, specifically the Savvy Home Inspector, I think. I'm sure he'll fill it in if I messed up there. So tell us about ways in the future that you're thinking about improving your services in the future, Ken.
All right, sir. What we're doing, Preston, is we're adding more live online workshops. We do a physical workshop. You know, everybody shows up. We have done it always in the fourth quarter of the year. We've done it in Florida this year. We're doing the workshop in Texas. But what happens is this. There's a lot of home inspectors out there that could use the information that we teach but can't give up 3 days. A lot of the one-man shops say, you know what, Ken, we got to buy the ticket, we got to buy the airline, we got to get the hotel, and that takes us away from making money. We said, wow, that's a niche in the market. So we'll still do an annual workshop because you can't beat that. But the fact of the matter is we're going to be doing more live online workshops. So you purchase a ticket, we go 3 hours, one specific topic, and you don't have to leave the comfort of your home. You have access to the recording and the resources. So I think that's one. The demand for that is there, and the clients are asking us for it. So we're going to do that. One of the other things, Preston, we're adding, and this is really a helpful thing for home inspectors, we're beefing up our e-commerce store. And I alluded to it earlier. A home inspector wants to do lunch and learns, but they don't have any PowerPoints, or they want to teach CE classes and they don't have the material, or they want to do this or they want to do that, but they don't have the materials. A lot of them aren't creative in that way, and we have creative people on our staff. I mentioned to you we had grown to 22, and we're bringing in 3 more right now. We have people that do those things, and then the home inspectors can just purchase them from a small fee from the e-commerce store and then put those strategies in effect. So I think that those are really good things. The other thing we're doing is we're developing some new services where home inspectors can reach home buyers online. I just think that's the future of the business.
Awesome. I want to back up on something you said there, Ken, taking advantage of technology. I don't know if you knew this or not. We have actually, my business, meeting with my guys, we used to meet every 2 weeks at this restaurant. They gave us a room, and we'd have breakfast and go over everything. And I loved it. I'm old school. But, I took like you mentioned, taking a poll of your realtors and all this. I cover a large area. So some of these guys really had to come in from a long way away, get their kids to, daycare or school or whatever, and then come to this and then turn around and go do an inspection back where they live. And I took a poll. I always I kind of have a silent suggestion box. And overwhelmingly, through the influence of my manager too, we have now gone to a Skype type meet. It's not Skype; it's through Cisco. I forget the name, but it's Cisco. I forget the exact
WebEx.
name of it. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. And we all go on there and we have our meeting. And I'll be honest, I was against it at first because I'm old school. And we still have a few physical meetings, but honestly, we've had better participation. It's just so much easier. And I firmly believe in taking advantage of it. I still think there's so much advantage to face-to-face, but it's not always possible when you got guys all over the city and, they got to get to places, daycare and this and that, and then go do their inspection. And I don't know. We still do have some physical meetings, but our biweekly meeting now has gone to a WebEx type meeting, and it's a good thing, man. It's a good thing. Take advantage of that technology. I know there's probably some listeners that – Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry, Preston. We have a lag on our phone, so I didn't mean to step on you. But you're exactly right. In the old days, before I sold Southern Home, we had 13 home inspectors going full-time. And Metro Atlanta is as big as Charlotte. So
right.
there was no such thing as this technology we're talking about today. And we would use conference calling, the same bridge line we're using today. We'd get on there and talk to each other, but that's a good thing. But here's an alternative for your listeners. Zoom.us is way less expensive than WebEx, and you can get 20 or 25 people on the line, and you can actually put everybody's picture on the screen, because the thing you and I old schoolers miss about the technology, if you can't see their pictures, you're not reading that body language, and that's where nonverbal communication is really where you can understand what people are thinking.
Right. And you can see if somebody's drinking during the meeting. No, I'm just kidding.
If they're drinking coffee, that's all right. If they got a beer at 8 o'clock in the morning, that might be a little issue.
Yeah, exactly. At night, it's not a big deal, but if it's a morning meeting, that might be something you might need to have a coming to Jesus with them.
Yeah, exactly.
I hear you. Well, Ken, you've been in the business about 20 years, and I feel like you got a pretty good finger on the pulse of it. And I know none of us have a crystal ball, but, I know you're a pretty sharp fellow. What do you think? How do you think the home inspection business will change in the future?
I've been saying, Preston, for quite a few years that the real estate agents are going away, and when they're no longer in the office, and what are you going to do? And as their roles change, they'll be less influential in the referral business, and I can't wait till they relinquish their hold on the client completely. Because this 3 people on a list is ridiculous. It's reduced this commodity. Without a real referral, the deal turns on price. That's dumb. It shouldn't. They hold us back from selling services that clients actually need. So the fact of the matter is that's changing. And, you look at it, and you and I talked about this last year about one of your family members that actually sold their own place. And
right.
And so the role that they have is changing. And the fact of the matter is they're no longer going to be in the office. We have a real estate firm here in Atlanta called Duffy Realty, and they sell you all the services a la carte. And they sell millions of dollars worth of services a la carte. You want to open house? No problem. It's X. You want to put your house on the MLS? Fine. It's X. Okay, so that's the way it's going, and real estate agents going to have to wake up and get it. The smart ones already get it. Okay, and they're looking at the ways to make this happen, but they're going away. Their role is going to be very different. And, the IRS and others are looking at real estate agents and that exclusion for 1099 and saying, wow, are they really a 1099 or are they really going to be a W-2? And if it turns out over time that they're a W-2, do you think the broker is going to carry any dead weight on his payroll? Not a chance.
You're right. Right.
So that's changing. So I think the real estate market is the most exciting. The only thing I'm disappointed about at Preston is I'm an old guy, and I want to see all these changes. So anyway, I think that's it. I think the other thing that you're seeing is when you look at commercial business like apartments, Wall Street's in it, man. Now Wall Street is back in, and they are absolutely going to have a greater role in the creation of the residential housing market and control of that. And when you look at it's already happening. Look at the venture capital being raised for Open Door and all these other companies that are coming in, which is a real opportunity for home inspectors with Open Door, because they're going to make an offer to the client, but they're going to get a home inspection first and rely on that report. So it's our responsibility, the savvy inspector, to get out in front of this thing and get these deals struck with Open Door for our coaching clients. Yeah, we have a network already. You don't need to go outside that network for home inspectors. We're it. Okay, so then what about Zillow's instant offers? I haven't seen anything get real estate agents in more of a rage than that. Oh, my gosh, they've been off the chart. I know in Charlotte they're ragging about it too, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. All the memes about Zillow, like, they hate Zillow. They hate it.
Yeah. Well, I love Zillow as a consumer, and truly, the beautiful thing about it is, you'll agree with this, there isn't a home for sale on the market today that a consumer can't locate without a real estate agent. And today, I just read in Inman News a few weeks ago, you can actually list your home on the MLS as a home seller for free. Okay, so where's the value in the real estate agent?
Wow. Well, Ken, you're right. I have MLS access. I went and got my agent thing way back. It gave me an advantage to have the key and all that. And, years ago, I used to send the guys the MLS sheet the day before the inspection, the MLS on the house they were inspecting. But you know what I do now? I tell them, just Google the address. Just Google the address. You'll get more information than I could give you on that MLS sheet. I mean, and that it's different, and it's good. I think and you might be able to help me out with this, but I think there's a trend just in our business and across the people, the gatekeepers of the information, or the old guard of the information. The internet is just disrupting that. Information is no longer, held by a few. Information is accessible to everybody. Would you agree to that?
Absolutely, and information is power in our business.
Absolutely. Well, this next question, I got a feeling, being that I know Ken is a strong internet marketing guy, I'm sure he'll have an answer. He already dropped one answer to this about the Zoom, I think. Do you have an internet or marketing resource that you'd be willing to share with our listeners?
You know what, Preston, I have a resource that has information that's spot on. And I'm not saying this for the savvy inspector, but a couple of years ago, I said to our staff, you know what, we need to let people know what we do better. They really need to understand the savvy inspector better, because people say, I'm not going to get no coaching group. Okay, all right. So what happens is we said that's fine. So if we rebuilt our public portal where people come and learn about us, it's the savvyinspector.com, and on there are 60 to 90-minute training sessions on a variety of things. But here's some of the things that are on there, Preston. You don't have to opt in. You don't have to do anything. I got a mind map in many cases. I want to say there's an audio you can download and take with you from there. It's all completely free. And I have one on there. It's called How to Successfully Market a Home Inspection Business. I have one on your and my favorite topic, reputation marketing. I have one on there called Go Direct to the Public for Home Inspectors, one of my favorite topics, and I'm passionate about it. I have one on there called Home Inspection Newsletter. Why is it you should be using a newsletter for both your prior clients so that you can build brand fans, if you will, and for your real estate agents? And then I have one on there that's called Converting Home Inspection Websites Make Sales 24/7, because if somebody comes to your website and you don't make a sale, you lose. Okay, and there's a ton more stuff on there, but those were just some of the topics. But they can go right to the savvyinspector.com, and boom, you can listen to, download, enjoy those all for free. No opt-in necessary.
Awesome. Good value bombs, or as you say, golden nuggets.
You got it, brother. There's a ton of golden nuggets on there.
I hear you. Well, Ken, what's the best part of your job and why, and what's the worst part of your job and why?
Preston, I'll tell you, you have a beautiful family, and I know that you're extremely proud of them, and all the work that you do with them to help them and train them and lead them and guide them when they do great things like they do, because I'm a Facebook friend with you. I know that you're proud, right?
Right. Oh, absolutely.
And
They
you get
get
that
it all from mother. They get it from their mother, though.
Listen, I know her well, so that's true. But I'll tell you what happens is when we help our clients really achieve their dreams, I don't care what your dream is. It's your dream, not mine. Okay, you tell us what it is, and we help you achieve it. That is the best part of my job. When we get these thank you notes and these thank you letters about how we've changed people's lives, our whole team, not just me, because the Savvy Inspector is way larger than Ken. So that is the absolute best part of my job. I mean, I live for that. The worst part of my job is this. We take on a client. We certainly know what to do. We've been around since 1997. We built multi-million-dollar firms, and they just don't get a mindset where they implement. Because remember, my success quote earlier was, he who implements wins. And on the Savvy Inspector site, that's everywhere. Because if you don't implement, you don't win. I mean, Preston, you didn't get to be the giant success you are today by not implementing. So that's the most frustrating part of it. The worst part of it is the clients don't get it. Some of them don't get it, and trying to get them to understand, look at all these other successful people in the firm around you. They did the same thing. We can't we can't print our reports on site, or we can't produce them on site, or we can't do this, or I can't hire employees. I'm like, seriously? You know what it is? They don't believe in themselves. Every day when you get up, Preston, you believe in yourself, and so do I. I have a can-do attitude. I don't think I can. I know I can. And that permeates through our staff. So they don't believe in themselves, and they don't get the right mindset. So the worst part of my job is a client that won't implement. So they have the potential, they have everything they need to do, but they don't believe in themselves. They don't believe it's possible for them. And even Coach William, one of the Coach William Troutman, he was in our firm, one of our coaches, and he said, when I first started with the Savvy, I didn't really believe in myself. None of the Troutmans were ever successful, and we had to do all this for a living, and success at this level wasn't possible, and he had to have a mind change too. And when I said to him years ago, I don't want you to be a home inspector, I want you to be a marketer of home inspection services. And I'll tell you, Preston, that flipped a light switch on Coach William. And him and Sherry this year will break $1 million in sales, 9 home inspectors, got a balanced life, 3 grandkids, a beautiful thing. So that's the worst part of it, seeing people with potential that don't do it.
Right. No, I totally agree. Is there anything you're working on right now, Ken, that has you jacked up or excited?
Woo-hoo! You think I'm an excitable kind of guy?
Maybe.
I'm enthusiastic, Preston. That's always the way I've been. You've known me for a long time. So the answer is yes. I'm always trying to deliver better value to the customer. A Savvy Inspector is all about it. That's what we're built off of. So what we've done is we've worked with an adult education person that says, how do adults learn? Because what happens is when you get into our system, and make no mistake, it's a system, we want you to get the most value. We want you to achieve your dreams in the system quickly. So what we've done is we're reworking our member portal to allow that. So we still tell you what you need to do, why you need to do it, give you the tools to do it, but we're adding some other things. For instance, at the end of the course that you take on that, then what happens is we are going to give you the procedures. So step 1, here's what you do to implement this. Step 2, step 3, step 4. So a lot of cool things are happening in there to make it super easy, so no home inspector gets left behind.
Right. Ken, you said you're that guy who gets excited or whatever. People who know Ken has, and you probably heard some on this interview, has the best quotes. and he used to say this one all the time because, he talks about, we want to be thorough but non-alarmist, and that's a mistake a lot of inspectors make. So Ken used to always have this saying, let me make sure I get it right, two places you don't want to hear, oh, my God. That's during, what is it, a heart? How did
brain
you say
surgery.
it? A heart surgery or home inspection. You don't want to hear it. And I adopted that for a while, and I would go around saying it. And I said it at this, I'll say at this meeting, I said, there's 2 places you don't want to hear, oh, my God, heart surgery or home inspection. And this one lady, kind of older lady, sat there at the front. She said, well, there's one other. And then she looked at me, and she kind of smiled, and she said, no, you're probably right. You got to think about that. I had to think about that, and I was like, oh, wow. So I'm like, okay, I've been afraid to use that quote ever since. You got me off my game a little bit. She kind of had that ride, So anyway, well, Ken, you obviously very knowledgeable about the home inspection business. Let's say you were back at Southern Home Inspection, I'm just going to, for the sake of conversation, let's say you had 10 home inspectors, everything going well and the economics that follow along with that. But you had to pick up and move to another area equal to the size of Atlanta. Still have all your equipment, all your knowledge, all your guys, room and board taken care of. You had $5,000 to market in a brand new place where you don't know anybody. What's the best use? What are you doing with that $5,000 in the first week?
Well, I'll tell you, Preston, the first week I'm saving that $5,000 because you know what the first thing I'm going to do in the first week is? I'm going to set up a mind map to map out my strategy, because one of the old Ken-isms is begin with the end in mind. Okay, so week one, I'm writing a mind map. Then, the 3 strategies that will be right on there? The 3 strategies will be top producer marketing using direct mail and lumpy mail. No question about it. I'm not wasting my time on non-top producers. I'd target one office that pays 100% commission for relationship marketing. In all markets, it's Keller Williams. In other markets, it's different. It could be a Remax. It certainly was in Atlanta. But I'd find out which office paid 100% commission. I'd evaluate that office to see if I could get a positive ROI out of there, and I'd jump straight on it. And I'd also be building my internet marketing presence because, Ken, he goes direct to the public for business. So the first week, I'd mind map it out. And then I'd mind map out those 3 specific strategies, and then I'd get right to work.
Awesome. Well, Ken, you mentioned earlier you got a workshop coming up October in Texas. Tell us a little bit about that.
Can I make a shameless pitch? I'm kidding.
Sure.
I'm kidding. It's open to all inspectors, and I think that's something that everybody needs to know. You don't have to be a Savvy Inspector coaching client to join us. A couple of years ago, we opened it up to all members. Preston, I think this is the thing. 2 years ago, we started this. I'm most excited about it. People that will come will be power players like yourself, Brian Murphy, William and Sherry, all these others. But we also have one-man shops. And, what's the right content for power players isn't necessarily the right content for others because they're in a different place in their business. So by doing 27 breakout sessions, you can customize your own workshop experience. But here's the most beautiful thing is we build a website. It'll already be built before we get there. And once we finish the workshop, all of the presentations and the resources will be on that website for every participant, regardless of whether you went to that breakout session or not, and you have access to that for a full year. So I think one of the other things, Preston, that is so good about this, about half the value comes from the stage. The speakers are all successful people like you, Preston, and the other thing is, what about the networking? We buy lunch for you every day, so you sit with somebody different, you build up your networking, and then each evening we have a cocktail reception that the Savvy puts on, and then people get in there and network. So I think the networking is really a cool thing. And finally, we've got a killer early bird special through July 31st. Of 2017, and we're providing a ton of value. We're giving away a website and blog, and we're giving away rep video commercials, social covers, all that kind of stuff. So that would be a good thing for them to catch. So if you're thinking about doing a workshop this year, we'd love to have you. We're in Austin, Texas, October 5th. We're in Arlington, Texas, October 5th through the 7th. So you can just go to thesavvyinspector.com or you can go to tsiworkshop.com. Either way and learn about it. But if you're going to get a ticket, go ahead and get the thing before the early bird expires. We have 120 seats, and that's it. 90 of the seats today are already sold, so there's 30 seats left. So if you're interested in grabbing a ticket, please do so.
Okay. I just have one request that, and I was the most guilty person of this. No recording devices during the cocktail hour. What happens in the tent stays in the tent.
Yeah, that's right. We do not. We search you before you get into the cocktail reception. Make sure you have no recording device.
There you go. Well, Ken, is there anything that I should have asked you that I didn't?
Yeah, you should have asked me, how can we charge so little? You know what happens is you only charge $79.95 a month for our coaching service for our inner circle group coaching. You know you can't get anything for that.
So, yeah, how do you charge so little? I'll ask you.
Exactly. Yeah, Preston, that's what we get all the time. When we started the Savvy Inspector in 2006, we charged $79.95 a month. In 2017, we charged $79.95 a month. And you know what my personal philosophy is? I have been hugely successful in business, Preston. Not toot my own horn. You know me. I've been blessed with a good business acumen and been able to do it. But why should we charge home inspectors a bunch of money to achieve their dreams? I mean, $80. Nobody can't not do that, can they? I mean, we teach you everything you need to know. I mean, I could start calling off names of power players who do more than $1 million a year, who have been Savvy Inspector clients since they were one-man shops, and they're still in the $80 a month program. You don't have to go any further than that if you don't want to. So why should I charge home inspectors an unreasonable amount of money to help them achieve their dreams? We don't. So you know what? You come in at $80 a month. If you want to buy more services to help you achieve your dreams further, faster, fine. But we're not going to sell you anything. You're going to have to raise your hand and say you want that. Okay, so I think by making no barrier to entry for the price into coaching, that it's always been our mission. Everybody should have access to it. And, you know, let's see, $80 is probably 25% of one inspection per month.
Right. No, definitely a good deal, definitely. And I thought I was special. I didn't realize you gave that deal to everybody. I thought I was like the Audible. You know, Audible keeps me at $15 because I was like with them way back. Now they're like $25, and I'm like, I think my credit card, you know, got fraud on it one time or something. And I was telling them, call them. I'm afraid I'm going to lose my $15. And I have to rejoin up. I want to save that $10. So anyway.
Exactly.
Well,
we just don't.
Go ahead.
No, we just don't feel like we have to charge home inspectors a bunch. So we also, Preston, you know, we think it's on us to keep the clients happy. So you come to the SavvyInspector.com, you decide you want to give us a try. Don't pay $80. Just pay $39.97 for 1 month. See if you like it, and if you do, great. Keep on. If you don't, oh well, we'll part friends. So you can actually get signed up for $39.97 for a first month.
Well, and I'll say this to all the listeners out there, and, you know, I've said this to you before, Ken. I hope it doesn't hurt your feelings, but I went on there and I saw it was $80 and you could quit at any time. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to join. I'm going to get all the stuff, download all the stuff, and then I'm going to quit. And then 10 years later, I never quit. So
that's right.
I'm sorry I had that kind of, you know, I was like, well, $80 and you can quit at any time, you know, but it's definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. Well, Ken, we're winding down here, and we'll get a shout out to all the ways that people can get in touch with you. But is there any question you'd like to ask me?
Where did you get those cool pants?
Most of them are loudmouth golf pants at John Daly, you know. But funny thing, those things are like $100. I mean, he's pretty proud. He's making a good living on those things. And I don't know if you know this, but I from what I understand, John Daly follows some of the big golf tournaments. He's sponsored by Hooters, and he goes to the local Hooters during the golf tournament with his bus, and he sells these things. And pretty brilliant, actually. And they say, I've never been, but they say, you know, you go up, like, people want to take a picture with it, but he won't take a picture with them unless they buy a pair of pants. And I'm like, dude, you owe me a couple. I'm going to go up to him, show him my collection, say, you owe me a couple of videos, man.
That is awesome. Go ahead, Preston. Oh, well, I just wanted to. We have a little lag on the phone. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I did want to leave you with one little story about those pants, though. Like I said, they're about $100, which, you know, no matter how much success you have in life, $100 is still $100. And, you know, and I'm cheap. So my daughter was taking this sewing class when she was younger. It was like sewing camp, and I went to pick her up. I was a little early one day, and, you know, the woman who teaches is obviously good at sewing. And I was wearing my pants. I said, hey, can you make some pants like this? She said, yeah. I said, well, how much would you charge me? She said, $20, $25. And I'm like, well, heck, the material can't cost $75. I said, what do you need from me? And she said, 2 yards of material for each pair you want. So I went to the cloth store, and I said, yeah, I just picked out the wildest, craziest. Give me 2 yards of that, 2 yards of that, 2 yards of that. So I take it back to the woman, and she makes them. But the one thing I didn't consider, Ken, was the thickness of the material. So she made me 8 pairs, and let's just say 3 pairs. I just will not get in front of a window on a sunny day. And I learned that the hard way. So every time I go do a presentation, man, I'm like, I do a quick check. I got the thick ones on today, right? That is not the impression you want to leave folks with at all.
Anyway. A third place you don't want to hear, oh, my gosh, is a presentation in a real estate office where they're looking through your thin material.
That's right. It's cold in here. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I did want to say though, Preston, that congratulations to you for all your success. You've worked hard. Nobody gave you anything. I can remember when you guys were in a workshop with us early on in your career, you and Miss Meg, and Meg said, "I don't think we can ever let Preston not do inspections because the real estate agents won't permit it." And I was teasing Meg, just hang on, we'll make that work out. And so from there, you guys have really just become an industry leader, and that's a lot of work, and so kudos to you, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I know there's a lot of listeners out there that struggle with that same thing. It was hard. I thought nobody could do it better, as good as me, and for all the listeners, nobody can do it as good as you. But if they can do it pretty close, it's Robert Kiyosaki. Do you want to build a pipeline or you want to keep hauling buckets? And I was hauling buckets. I was bucketing myself to death back in those days.
Mm-hmm.
But Ken, I appreciate you dropping all the gold nuggets and value bombs. I'm sure the listeners got a lot of value. How can they get more in touch with you? I don't expect you to give out your cell phone, although some guys have. But an email or website for your workshop or for your services. If they wanted to know more about you or what you do, what's the best ways they could get in touch with you?
Okay, they can go to thesavvyinspector.com. thesavvyinspector.com. And then if they want to touch base with one of our staff about whatever, they can use support at thesavvyinspector.com. So support at the Savvy Inspector. Or from the site, they can click on Help Desk. We have live chat there, the whole thing. YouTube, we have a lot of videos there. And Preston, we like to provide videos with value. We're not going to sell you anything. Here's our philosophy. If we're right for you, you'll figure it out. You'll go watch the content on YouTube. You'll read our articles. You'll consume the content from the front of the Savvy site. And if you think we're right for you, then join up on the trial thing. But we're not in the position of convincing anybody that they need what we have. We want you to convince yourself that we're right for you. And when that happens, you join us and we have a successful relationship and we help home inspectors achieve their dreams. But if we have to convince people that they should use our products and services, then we're going to have to convince them each and every month, and we're not in the convincing business.
Awesome. And Ken, I am the worst speller in the world. Is Savvy, is that two V's or one? How do you spell Savvy?
It's two, S-A-V-V-Y. It is, S-A-V-V-Y.
Okay, awesome, because Meg's the speller. I'm not a speller at all.
So is Beth.
I hear you. Well, the best part of me is I married up and married well and married all my weaknesses. You probably did too. Well, Ken, I appreciate your time. You've given great value. I'll see you soon, but I just want to say thank you, and I'm sure all the listeners thank you, and hopefully they'll go check out your stuff and maybe give you some likes on Facebook.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you, Preston. It's always a pleasure talking with you, my friend.
All right, brother. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Guys, I want to talk to you about a way that you can make more money and less liability. Actually, no liability. InspectNewHomes.com. InspectNewHomes.com. What happened is one of the largest builders in our market came to us and wanted us to do all the pre-inspections on all of their new homes. But they didn't want us to use just our normal reporting software. They wanted a system set up specifically for a builder so that they could do quality control on their subs, and they could also advertise that all their homes were inspected by a third party. So we came up with this software, this system, a website, a whole turnkey thing where you can take this and take it to your builder and show them how you can save them time, save them money, reduce the adversarial relationship. And it's a whole new market. You will not have to compete with other home inspectors for this market, and it reduces the adversarial relationship with the builder, and best of all, there's no liability. So I'm telling you, it is great. It's phenomenal. I'd love to tell you the amount of money we've made with this system, a lot, but you're welcome to check it out, inspectnewhomes.com, or on the Successful Home Inspector podcast, you can, there's a tab on there as well. All right, if you would like to make some more money with almost no liability, check out inspectnewhomes.com.
Thanks for checking out the Successful Home Inspector podcast. You can find show links at thesuccessfulhomeinspector.com. Check out the website for special offers, information, and other resources. Thanks again for listening to the Successful Home Inspector podcast. And remember to check back for new episodes. The Successful Home Inspector podcast is brought to you by Preston Sandlin and Home Inspection Carolina.